Hello, I'm Joyce Rupp. I'm co-director of the Institute of Compassionate Presence. I hope you'll consider joining us for the Boundless Compassion Conference to be held at the Servite Center of Compassion in Omaha, Nebraska. We've had over 600 participants join us for this conference, either in Omaha or elsewhere in the United States or in England. And many of our participants will write and tell us after the conference how much their being present at the conference has changed their lives. It certainly has changed my life. When I began teaching for the Institute of Compassionate Presence in the Boundless Compassion program, I thought that I knew what compassion was. I'd had experience as a volunteer for hospice, and I've been a spiritual guide for years, accompanying many people through their difficulties. But it wasn't really until I did research and extended study that I recognized there are so many facets and layers to compassion. And this is the kind of thing that we incorporate into our conference. When I was studying compassion, I thought about the quality of compassion as central to the life of Jesus. And this program is certainly a Christian program, but it's also very much an interfaith program. It's open to all participants of any faith or no faith. We welcome the wisdom of every participant because each one that comes brings his or her own lived experience of knowing what suffering is like. Many who take part in our program work in some area, professional area, where they're being asked to be a compassionate presence. And so that too can be an experience of deepening that lived experience and the professional experience that a person has. I'd like to talk a little bit about the topics that we have for the 4 days. When I was doing research for this, one of the things that I was just excited about was learning how much neuroscience has to offer to our living compassion. I'd always approached it only from a faith dimension, which is excellent, but neuroscience, quantum physics, they also have much to help us in being a compassionate presence. So when we begin our program, we begin with compassion as the component of personal transformation. That's where it has to begin, our own inner change. And then after we reflect upon that, we look at neuroscience and quantum physics and how that fits into that whole process. We spend a whole day on self-compassion, realizing that unless we are truly self-compassionate, it's very difficult to offer compassion to others in a way that doesn't have a shadow side to it. Then we take a day on suffering, a full day on suffering, because compassion is about our desire to alleviate suffering in our own and other people's lives. And so we look at compassion from our attitudes and our experience of what we know about suffering. We also spend time that day looking at the qualities of being a compassionate presence. And then on that final day, we take the morning and we look at how we are with people who are marginalized. That's a morning when we look into peace and justice issues. We look into how we can change systems that create the marginalization that happens in our world. And then in the afternoon, we spend that afternoon with compassion for creation, compassion for our suffering planet, and how we can be with that in a way that will make a difference. And so I really hope that you'll be able to join us for this conference. It's not only input with my presentations and other speakers and DVDs, videos, music. It's also about process, about quiet time, about integration through small group discussion. And we also allow time for quiet. We think that's very, very important to help to integrate all of those concepts that we're looking at during those 4 days. So I truly believe that Boundless Compassion Conference can be a great help to you both personally and professionally. And I really hope that you'll be able to join us this summer.